All right. Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Definitely. Always excited to jump into these topics.
Well, today we're tackling something pretty big. Investment banking and financial advisory services.
Oh, yeah, those are some heavy hitters in the finance world.
For sure. And we've got, let's see, like some notes, summaries, a few articles all about these services.
Sounds like we've got a lot to unpack.
We do, but, that's the fun of it. And the goal here is, well, I think a lot of folks hear investment banking and their eyes kind of glaze over.
I can relate to that.
But really, this stuff impacts everyone, whether you're thinking about starting a business or just trying to understand why the stock market is doing whatever it's doing.
Exactly. It's all connected.
So we're going to break down the key players, what they actually do, and I think we'll even uncover some surprising connections.
Oh, do tell. What kind of connections?
Well, let's just say there might be a few luxury yachts involved.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
All right, so first things first, we need to understand, what are these two things? Investment banking, financial advisory, are they the same?
Well, think of it like a two-sided coin.
Okay, I like that.
On one side, you've got investment banking. They're the deal makers, helping companies raise capital, go public.
Oh, right. Like when a company decides to do an IPO, that's where investment bankers come in, right?
Exactly. And speaking of IPOs, did you mention a recently IPO'd company relevant to the listener? They just went public.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? I think they were valued at what, mentioned valuation? Something crazy like that?
Yeah, that's a lot of zeros. But it makes sense. They've seen massive growth in the mentioned sector.
Right, and investment bankers are the ones who package that story, make it appealing to those big investors.
They're basically financial storytellers, but they need to have the numbers to back it up.
But it's not just about hype.
Exactly. It's got to be grounded in reality. And it's not just IPOs either. They also handle mergers and acquisitions, those big corporate shakeups.
Oh, like that huge deal with, mention a recent high-profile merger acquisition example. That was all over the news.
Yep, that's a prime example. Completely reshaped the mentioned sector industry landscape.
I remember reading, though, that deal almost fell apart because of regulatory issues.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole other layer of complexity there with the legal side of things.
So it's not just about, knowing the financial formulas or whatever.
Not at all. There's strategy involved, negotiation, a whole lot of back and forth.
Investment bankers, they're like the ultimate multitaskers of the financial world.
You could say that. They need to be sharp, think on their feet, and be able to see the big picture.
Okay, so that's investment banking, the deal makers, the negotiators, the IPO wranglers.
In a nutshell, yeah.
But what about the other side of the coin? Financial advisory, you said it was more personalized, right?
Exactly. Think of it this way. If investment banking is about companies and markets, financial advisory is about individuals and their goals.
Oh, interesting. So it's less about Wall Street and more about Main Street.
You could say that. It's about creating a roadmap for people to achieve their financial dreams, whatever those might be.
So, what kind of people are we talking about here?
Well, anyone really. But typically, financial advisors work with individuals who have a certain level of wealth. Like, let's say, someone with over $1 million in investable assets.
Okay, so we're talking about folks who have, a substantial portfolio to manage.
Right. They might have investments in stocks, bonds, real estate, things that need careful planning and management, and that's where the advisor comes in.
So they're like a financial coach, but for the big leagues.
Exactly. And they can handle all sorts of things. Developing investment strategies, navigating tax laws, estate planning, you name it.
Wait, estate planning? That sounds kind of morbid.
Well, it's not about the end. It's about ensuring your legacy, making sure your assets are distributed according to your wishes.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So are these the advisors who help people buy those,
The yachts.
Yeah, the yachts.
Sometimes, yeah. It's all part of managing wealth. You've got to figure out how to spend it wisely. Right.
I mean, if you've got enough to buy a yacht, I guess you've earned the right to spend it however you like.
True enough. But even with those big purchases, there's still a lot of planning and strategy involved. It's not just about throwing money around.
So whether we're talking about taking a company public or figuring out what to do with your millions, it sounds like strategic thinking is the key ingredient.
Absolutely. And that's something everyone can benefit from. It's not just about finance. It's a life skill.
That's a really good point. Knowing how to think strategically can help you in any field, whether you're running a business or just planning your next vacation.
Exactly. It's about setting goals, understanding the steps to achieve them, and being able to adapt when things change.
So even if our listeners aren't planning to become investment bankers or financial advisors, they can still take away some valuable lessons from this world.
For sure. Understanding how finance works gives you a better grasp of the world around you.
You can make more informed decisions about your own money, understand the news a little better.
And maybe even start thinking about how to achieve your own financial goals, whatever they might be.
So to wrap things up, what's the one thing you'd want our listeners to really remember from all of this?
I think it's that finance, while it might seem complex, it's ultimately about people. It's about helping businesses grow, individuals achieve their dreams.
And sometimes, yeah, it's even about helping people buy a yacht.
Hey, if you've got the means, why not?
Fair enough.
Ah,
So, as always, we want to hear from you. What sparked your curiosity today? Was it the world of IPOs, the intricacies of estate planning, or maybe the realization that strategic thinking is a superpower?
whatever it was, keep that curiosity going. The world of finance is full of fascinating stories, and we'll be here to break them down for you.
Until next time, happy investing, everyone.
Or, happy strategizing.